For my listing appointments, it's all in preparation, right? Before we go, I do a lot of research and I try to find out their motivation. I try to find out what are their pain points, and I do talk a lot about my marketing plan. That's which is very unique in the way that what I say, I do that. And it is 30 plus point, and I do tell them, don't worry, I'm not discussing it here because you're gonna think this lady's not ever gonna leave with 30-point plan, but I will go main ones. And I do offer them, I'm a certified stager, and I do offer them my staging for free of charge. And I do have a lot of stuff in terms of staging, and they say that I have a natural eye. I turn their home. I'm a magician. They say I turn their home into something like model home.
That's an amazing compliment to say you're a magician, right? I wish someone would tell me that. That's cool.
So I do show them what I have done, how they looked before, and how I turn them into, and how my conversion. Most of my listings, they go under contract within first 2 weeks, if not the first week.
And that just has to give the client so much confidence.
So their stress is and that also, it's like below the marketing price. It is always either above or at the same. I print out my data from MLS and show it to them that it always goes at 100% or above.
That's amazing. So a couple of takeaways. The preparation and the conversations you have before you ever get there, you're really trying to uncover motivation and then their pain points.
Absolutely.
So you know how to solve, and then you're having all the data about yourself so that they're not questioning whether what you're saying is true because you're showing it to them.
Absolutely.
Huge.
Yeah.
And then the other emotional piece of it is the before and the after. I think people have insecurity about their home. So you're giving them confidence that you're going to take their most valuable asset and get the most out of it.
Right. I make them comfortable saying that, hey, your house is absolutely beautiful. And it is. I'm very honest about that. And I just say when we live in a house, we live comfortably, right?
Yeah.
Staging is completely opposite of interior decoration, right? If you want to live in a house, you want your couch or your table next to something where you've been using. Yeah. But when we do staging, it's just a different, you appeal more to buyers. So, and I do tell them, compliment them that their house is beautiful, but it's not gonna be theirs once it's on the market. So we're gonna think how the buyer's gonna like it. We're gonna think about what kind of buyers will be buying, young couple, older. We will cater to their tastes.
That makes sense. And how do you handle it when a client is really sensitive about their home?
I do feel that, and I just say, we're gonna do the way you want it. If anything you think should stay there, and if you let me know why, we will leave it there. But I do go and I say, I do this every day. Believe me, I will not do anything which would hurt you. It's all for the sale of your home, to go quickly.
Yeah.
Once it's on the market, it's not yours.
I love that statement because it's true.
Yes.
Right?
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And you really are assuming the responsibility also, right? There's an amount of you that's saying, I'm going to make it easy. I'm going to take care of you. And that's giving them the confidence, but it's also letting them know, as an example, sometimes we have clients who they have a hard time showing. Right? They are canceling showings, or they're not respectful, but it's another way of setting up the boundary. Once it's on the market,
it's not yours.
Yeah.
And I do tell them that it's actually mine. Financially it's yours, but it becomes my responsibility. It's reflection on me. If the house is not ready, or if they don't see what they don't find when they come, what's in the pictures, it becomes because they are gonna think that I did not educate my clients. So financially it's yours, of course, but otherwise it's mine.
Reputationally. Yeah.
Right.
That, what I like about that is then it gets the client extra responsibility, and makes them feel like they owe you, not just themselves, because they're more likely when they like you and they trust you to do a good job for you than they will even themselves at times.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
interesting.
You got it.
Very smart.
Thank you.
So how did you develop the style and the process that you use?
So I kind of practice myself on myself.
Yeah.
When I go before, and I use a lot disc personality. Before I get there, I talk to them on the phone, and I kind of get vibes. What kind of personality is that? If they need a lot of data, I go with a lot of data. But if somebody's more like, they just want to talk, and I make it very, good, but it is good, but I just give them extra attention. So I do pay a lot of attention towards their personality and what makes them stable, comfortable, and what makes them secure. So
yes.
So I do. I'm passionate about real estate, right?
Yes.
So real estate is taking a lot of their stress. If we are not able to take their stress away, it's very hard.
Right.
Selling a home is very stressful. You and me, we know.
Yeah.
And then our job is like counselors, going there and making them, feel that we got it. Don't worry, we got it. We'll take you to the next level. And the next level is if they're upgrading or downsizing. We help them with the next process too, because I don't want them to be homeless, sell their home, and where they go next, right?
Yeah.
So it's tied in process,
You integrate the whole thing.
Yep.
So in your experience, what have been the biggest challenges for you to overcome that you see as patterns in your listing appointments?
The biggest is always how you're gonna make it happen. Everybody says they send just listed postcard, they do open houses, they do this, they do that. How you gonna make it happen, what you are saying? And I say, this is my track record, you can see that. And then I say, I'm also a certified stager, and that gives me an extra edge, because I don't have to be dependent on anyone and wait for them. If we need to tweak something, we need to change, we can do that, because I have everything what it needs. For me, it's a lot of, I could double my business, but I want to give that comfort to them. And if I get somebody who could replace me, help me, I would continue go to further level. But for the time being, I really love it myself too.
That's good to love what you do every day.
Yeah, because if you're just a realtor, and then after some time it becomes same thing, you're doing same thing over and over again. So I think the excitement goes away, or it's diminished a little bit. But if you're a stager, that's where I see the magic, when you change everything to altogether different level. So I enjoy it.
Well, it's the artistic piece of it, and it's always different. That makes a lot of sense. So if you're not a stager, think about it. Yes. But you have to have the magic eye. It only works if you have the magic eye.
I remember in my childhood, I used to get, like, my mom would get so upset. Every week I would change settings. I would say, no, this looks better. She said, what's wrong with you? It looks okay. I said, no. I mean, I remember,
always
had that, but I did not know how to use that. And actually, I was like yelled at.
When you were younger, because you kept, your mom's thinking she did a beautiful job, and then you're changing.
Yeah, I just changed. No.
That's so funny.
I know.
So if you were to give advice to people watching right now, if they're not a stager, that's a critical piece of what you do. But is there something that you see outside of that really helps how you communicate it or what you say to get the clients feeling confident with you?
I would say that just be genuine. If you're excited, if you love your profession, or if you are passionate, they see it, right?
Yeah.
So just go there from helping point of view, understand what they are going through, once you understand that, put yourself in their shoes and go from helping point of view, it just flows. They can sense it that you are in their side. It's not all about commission, it's about solving problems. We are solving problems every day. So if you go there and already know what problems they are going through and you help them to solve them, they are gonna be your cheerleaders.
They notice. Yeah. One other point you made, which I think for anyone who is not aware of the DISC personality type, we both share a similar thought, which is you have to approach the client from who they are. So how did you learn about the DISC?
Well, we meet difficult people, right, every day. And I don't say that I'm an easy one, right? Maybe I'm a very difficult one for somebody who is I, and I'm very high D, right? So D is like who's a driver, right? Always, they do not want to lose control, and they think they do the best. And it's very hard for them to let go, right? And control issue, right? Sort of.
Yes, guilty.
And so when you hire somebody, if you hire D or if you work with D, you're gonna be headbutting, right? So you need to understand, like, if they are D, then how it works, right? You give some and get some. That's how. Pull, push, pull, push.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, what was the question?
Well, so how did you learn? Because I think this is a missing element for people watching. They may think they understand DISC, but they're not doing what you're doing. You're assessing the type of personality on the phone before you go to the appointment and tailoring your presentation and your preparation for the person whom you're going to be meeting with.
Sure. You have to lose one or two listings in order to understand why this is happening. Like, it started very well. You had 100% surety that they are coming with you, and then you realize they didn't, because even during the presentation you felt something disconnection. You didn't feel the connection, though you thought that you connected. So I think it's very important to understand what their motivation is, how they want you to present it. If they want a lot of data and you're just sugarcoating it, then it's not gonna work out. You know that.
Totally.
Yeah. So it's very important to know how they would like you to handle their transaction or selling their home. For us, it might be a transaction, but for them, it's everything. It's the most important asset of their life, right?
Right.
So just that's how you one or two times when you meet with somebody and you're 100% sure because you've seen success and it didn't go the way you wanted to, say, oh my gosh, what did I do? So that time you start digging more into personalities and say where I'm gonna get connected, where they feel comfortable that you are the one.
Yep. So the biggest advice I would have listening to you say that is when I train agents, a lot of them say, yeah, I get that I should know that, but on the phone I don't know how to tell who someone is. So a couple of tips on that. If you're talking to someone and they interrupt you, right, and they want to move on to the next thing, they're a D.
Yep.
Because they're a driver. They don't have time. They want to finish the conversation. They're like, yeah, come Tuesday at 3:00, and you're, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a D. So how you would prepare for that appointment is different. If somebody's asking you questions about where you went to high school, and they're trying to make a personal connection and build rapport through shared things, that's an I. Absolutely. They tend to have more voice inflection as well. So even on the phone, you can identify who the person is. If they're asking you about details and data, and they tend to be a little bit slower in how they communicate, and they're very numbers driven, data driven, you can tell that's a C, right? And for somebody that's security driven, and they're going to be someone who you'll hear their way of speaking about change, and usually they're not excited about change.
Right.
That's an S. So on the phone, you can tell just by what someone says. If you listen as they're describing their motivation, you're going to know. Right?
Absolutely.
And how you prepare will be different. And so it's not something where every appointment you're going in blind. If you have a conversation with them, you kind of know who they are. The other point is, and this is advanced training, right?
Yes.
Usually if you're meeting with a couple, you're going to have two very different personality types that you're dealing with. And one person is going to override the other person, but that does not mean the person who is more of a driver, that doesn't actually mean they're the decision maker. Because the person who can break the decision is often the one who's a little quieter. They influence the other one. So if the D is with you and the person who's more of a C is not with you, and then another person comes in and they're a C, they could win.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So it's very important that both parties are confident. And if there's one party that you think has already made the decision, you really take the time to influence the other decision maker, because they can stop the whole thing in its tracks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So true. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that they got a lot out of this. If you were to leave them with one piece of advice, I'm going to ask you a difficult question. Are you ready?
Yes.
About getting the listing priced right. Because we all know if the price is wrong, the relationship with the client erodes and they go from loving you to hating you, and then you don't have the track record of success.
Absolutely.
So if they're walking down the path, they say, I think my home's worth $1 million and you think it's worth $800. How do you face that conversation?
That's so great, it's a lot different. So,
but it's not uncommon.
It's not uncommon. Absolutely. So, there are two ways to do it. Either you don't take it, you just say, okay, if they are so sure it's not going to work out. But that has not happened yet.
That you have just walked away completely.
Yeah, exactly. So if I do take data with me and show them in detail what they had been sold, I also let them know that the enthusiasm is only first 15 to 20 days. If it's not priced right, even if they are testing the buyers are going to think you are not serious, that you are just testing waters. So the enthusiasm goes away. If you're testing water, you're not serious. And thirdly, if it sits there, you keep reducing the price, it does not do you any favors. So we want the listing to be, and I also remind them they are paying mortgage, their expenses, so it comes to the same thing if it sits there for a year. And then the stress, it does not allow them to go to the next level of their life. They are holding their life. What is good, what is worth holding their life, sitting there and waiting for something waiting for Godot, which is not gonna come, the expression. So I take it very step by step, and I let them decide what you want to do. You want it to sit there for a year, or you want to sell it in first 2 weeks, and you do the math. And I always say, if it's you and me, we can set the price, but actually who sets the price are the buyers. Because if we prepare it so well, they see the value, they're gonna be bidding war. I rather have you 10 low offers than just one offer that you are competing, you and the buyer competing. I rather have you 10 offers and the buyers, you sit there and let them compete. Let them bid.
That.
So then
and they
get
see
it.
your track record, so they know you've produced those results.
And I said, I will never sell your home for low, because I get low commission if I sell it. So it's mutual, right?
Yeah, so there's
and not
a partnership.
only that, there's a partnership. And also, not only that, why would I sell their home for low if they can get it more? And if they really think that they're selling for low, then they don't sell it. Nobody's forcing you. You can wait till you get what you want. But
did you guys hear that? Just a second, I have to say, that's one of the best takeaway closes I've ever heard, because it's so, the way you deliver it is so sweet. Nobody's forcing you. You don't have to do it. They're like, but I want to move. Okay, then price it right.
Right? Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Brilliant.
If they are really, really adamant, then I say, 1 million is still a lot, so let's meet in between. Let's put 895. And if in 15 days no showings, right, not even one and no offers, you have the answer.
Yeah.
So then we are going to my price. Is that a deal? They say yes. So I let them try.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then 15 days.
And you make an adjustment, and your adjustment is to your recommended price.
Absolutely.
Do you write that in the listing agreement?
I do.
Yes.
I do.
So I could already tell because you're a D. So for those of you watching that don't do that, listen closely to what Sunita just shared with us. She says, okay, if you want to try it, we'll test it. And at 2 weeks, if we don't have an offer and we don't have a ton of attention on your house, then we move to my price. And then she says, is that a deal? And puts that in the listing agreement. So what I've found through selling hundreds and hundreds of homes is that if you say, is that a deal to someone, in the moment they think, that sounds fair, and they say yes. But 2 weeks in, they're like, I don't think we've tried long enough.
Yeah.
And then they shoot themselves in the foot and they wait longer and longer, right?
Right.
Am I right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so make sure you put it in the listing agreement and you document the deal. Document the deal right after you make it with them, because that moment is when they are closest to the data. As soon as you leave their house, then it becomes your fault and not about the data anymore.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. I write it then and there. The initial.
As soon as they say yes, you write it
Okay.
down. We'll start by initialing that before we go through the rest of the agreement, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Very smart. Okay, well, this has been insanely valuable. If you guys are watching and you want to get in touch with Sunita, what's a good way for them to reach out to you?
You can text me at 301-984-7108. You can call me at the same number. You can go to my website, www.balihomes with s-md.com. And email sntbali@gmail.com. Best is to text me.
Okay, perfect. But we'll also have that in the notes from this podcast. Thank you guys for being here. And if you loved this, please give us a like and hit subscribe below. See you guys soon.
Thank you so much. Let me thank Keri. They are the best in whole DMV area. You are the best. Seriously, I look up to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the HyperFast Show. Subscribe to us if you want to make sure you get the latest and greatest HyperFast shows. And remember, we love reviews. Reviews help us bring better and better guests and improve our shows. So give us the good, the bad, and the ugly. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.
Thank you so much for watching our video. I hope you liked it. Give it a quick like below and comment and share. We'd love your feedback. For more videos like this, click here. And to subscribe, click here.